watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Thank you for joining us for Season 2 of Focus on Germantown. I'm Mayor Mike Palazzolo. I consider it an honor each month to host this show, offering information and conversation about our city government. And what a time to be in Germantown. Just in the past month, a new poll named Germantown one of the safest cities in the state. Houston High School was recognized for having the highest ACT scores in Tennessee. And you might have noticed a new grocery shopping option or two. Perhaps not as noticeable has been a recent expansion of the medical community, as several medical-based businesses are now calling our city home. To open our second season, I'm pleased to welcome Methodist LeBonheur Germantown CEO William Kenley to our show to discuss this recent expansion and what it means to our city. Then Jeff Beaman from the Germantown Fire Department will tell us about an educational partnership between the fire department and Methodists to bring life-saving education to students at Houston High School. Jeff will also share why area cardiologists say the city's ambulances improve post-heart attack survival rates and heart health through new technology. And finally, in our What's New segment, I will introduce you to the new Executive Director of the Germantown Education Foundation, Stephanie Brockway. Stephanie is here to discuss the foundation and tell us how we can easily donate to the current fundraising campaign, as well as the big donation the foundation just received for our Germantown schools. Before we begin, I would like to say congratulations to the Germantown Festival and the 20th anniversary of the always entertaining running of the Weenie Dog Race. If you have been, you know there is nothing quite like this September tradition held at the festival as a fundraiser for the Germantown Animal Shelter. Joining us now is William Kenley. Mr. Kenley is CEO of Methodist LeBonheur Hospital, Germantown, and we are glad to welcome him to Focus on Germantown. Welcome, William.
Mr. Mayor, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. We are so fortunate to have Methodist LeBonheur Germantown in our city. So many things are happening in our community as it relates to health care.
Sure are.
Please share with our audience why so many businesses and clinics come to Germantown.
Well, I think you can start with a lot of the reasons we choose to live in Germantown or come and shop or go to school in Germantown. It's a safe, beautiful place to be. We're in a good location geographically relative to the population. And over time, for those reasons, a lot of folks in our medical community have really congregated around this community, so it's built the strength of the medical expertise, so to speak, that we have. And I think the last thing I would say with it is synergistically, all the good things that are happening in Germantown work together. People want to come get their health care here, and the thing that we hear time and time again is if there's something that's a quaternary care, for instance, a higher level than we might provide at our Germantown campus, the challenge is, well, why can't we have that in Germantown? So it's really a great position to be.
Well, I tell you what, I don't want to get this quote incorrect, but we have a new clinic, the UT West Institute for Cancer Research, and Dr. Lee Swartzberg is the director. This new facility he is calling the St. Jude for grown-ups in our community. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, sure. Dr. Swartzberg is our medical director and leader of our cancer service line and our development there, and we're very blessed to have Dr. Swartzberg and all the physicians from West Clinic. The new cancer center is an integrated approach. Many of us have been struck by cancer in our lives or the lives of our families, and one of the challenges that you have with it is being able to navigate the healthcare system. You go one place for this doctor, one place for that doctor, another place for imaging, another place for chemo, and so forth. The Cancer Center is what we know is the first and will be a model for integrated delivery of diagnosis and treatment of oncology in our community. So it's really revolutionary for here.
Well, we're blessed to have the clinic here, and Speaking of clinics and good fits, you know, the Germantown Methodist LeBonheur has been in our community for so many years, tucked away in the beautiful pines, and you've grown on a great campus. What's the fit for you here in Germantown?
Well, we started, the history goes all the way back to 1986 with a 110-bed hospital that opened that today is roughly the size, if folks drive by, of what we call our medical office building A. Those were the two facilities that were there on that location. Since that time, as you said, we've grown to 309 beds and an array of services that we're very fortunate to provide. I think the fit goes back to first, there is great momentum for folks that they want to seek their care at our Germantown Hospital. Over time, the reputation of the community and the reputation of our organization have grown together. We see approximately 40% of our patients come from outside our service area or outside our primary service area of Germantown in the area, I would say. And folks say they love coming into the community. Again, they feel safe here. They feel comfortable here. It feels like a small town, but they can get access to world-class tertiary care services.
So many things are changing in healthcare almost on a daily basis. At Methodist, how are you responding to some of those things that are changing in healthcare?
Well, one of the biggest changes, maybe the biggest change in healthcare overall, is a move away from volume-based services to value-based services. In the past, hospitals are kind of viewed like a fix-it shop. Now, we are moving more towards population health management and truly working with people to avoid illness, live healthier, more productive lives. So focusing on that value, not just what we do from a service standpoint, but how effective is it in helping that person, is a big change in healthcare today. We're responding with that in partnership with our physicians. We have an accountable care organization through our Health Choice joint venture, and through that we're working on medical home and various other strategies that help us bring a higher degree of value and a more personal degree of service to the patients and families we serve.
Well, thank you, William. We have about another minute in this segment. We'll have Chief Beaman with us shortly, and we're very proud of a partnership that has been formed between the hospital and our fire department. Would you elaborate a little bit on this? Don't take all of Chief's thunder
I will
when he's
not
on the
take
show.
that at all, but I would tell you we're very proud as well. It's something that we started thinking about years ago in modeling after something that was happening in Seattle, which went from a city that had one of the highest mortality rates in heart attack to one of the lowest through education and prevention and awareness. We're doing the same things here with HeartSafe, our HeartSafe community initiative in partnership. And I'm sure the Chief will share what we're doing with students, starting with young folks. That's another key piece of how we work successfully in healthcare today. We can't do it alone. It's a partnership between all of us, and we're grateful to have that with the City Fire Department.
Well, to mention partnership, we really appreciate it very much, William. Thanks for being here, William. When we return, Chief Beaman from the Germantown Fire Department will tell us about the partnership between Methodist Hospital and the Germantown Fire Department to teach CPR to all Houston High School freshmen and juniors. Back in just a moment.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika with the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw in the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back. We know one of the things that you value most as a Germantown resident is our superior public safety. Here to tell you about 2 new ways the fire department is keeping us safe, as well as using technology to help doctors keep you healthy, is Assistant Fire Chief Jeff Beaman. Good to have you here today, Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor, for having me.
Great. We are so proud of our fire department. So many things are happening positively from our ambulance service. Please tell us a little bit about some of the HART measures that the ambulance service now provides that keeps our citizens safe and healthy.
Well, what we've done since we've taken over the ambulance transportation service, we've implemented new technologies that really allow us to extend the reach of the physician out in the field now. When someone we suspect that's having a heart attack, we run a test called a 12-lead EKG, and that takes a picture of the patient's heart, and it looks for potential or possible damage, and it develops a picture. Well, since all of our ambulances have Wi-Fi capabilities, we transmit that picture to the local hospital, and it's received in a computer, and if that computer says, hey, this looks like a possible heart attack, it alerts the RN on duty, and she gets the doctor. He confirms that. While we're still in the field, he's already assembling the cath lab team, so when we arrive at the hospital, the patient, we actually skip the emergency room, and we actually go to the cath lab to save time, since time is muscle for a heart.
Wow. And now, before we took over our own ambulance service and brought it in-house, please help our audience understand a little bit, how did it work beforehand?
What we really had to do was, when we arrived at the patient's side, we did the 12-lead test, but we had to print the piece of paper or the picture off from the cardiac monitor. We had to finish our assessment, transport the patient to the hospital, walk in with the patient, allow the doctor to assess the patient and look at the 12-lead EKG, and then make the decision, does the patient go to the cath lab or remain in the emergency room? And it costs us valuable time.
Seconds mean lives here, or damage to tissue,
Yes,
I imagine.
Yes. Seconds is muscle.
Well, and we just mentioned that, how time sensitive that is.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about in real time? And I know also from having our own ambulance service, we have drastically reduced response time. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it's the deployment model we use now because it is our own in-house service. Our fire companies and ambulances are dispatched from our public safety dispatch center located in City Hall. They receive that information firsthand, where in the past, once our companies were dispatched, our dispatch center actually had to call another dispatch center and then have the ambulance dispatched. So there was a lack of communication and then a lag of time before the ambulance actually was responding to the call. We've been able to shave off 3 and 4 minutes consistently with our response time since we've gotten the ambulance business.
Well, and it's been one of the best decisions that we've made as a city. We're very thankful that the fire department does such a good job. Switching gears just a little bit, some of our citizens may be aware, but in our recent budget, we are adding more ambulance service and more staff. Can you just share with our audience?
Yes, sir. We recently added 3 additional personnel, and that's allowed us to staff a 3rd full-time ambulance. We've redeployed the ambulances to the fire station on Dogwood, the fire station on Farmington, and the fire station on Forest Hill. And this allows us to spread our ambulance coverage better throughout the city than previously. And this also equates to faster response times for people who need us.
Great. Well, and just to kind of conclude a little bit, let's spend a little bit of time in bragging about, we just had William Kenley in our first episode and segment, talk a little bit about the unique partnership between the City of Germantown Fire Department, Germantown Methodist LeBonheur, and Houston High School, and how important that is to our community.
It's actually very important. You know, several years ago, we were looking at positive ways to impact the community's health and safety, and we partnered with Methodist Hospital Germantown with the Heart Safety or Heart Health Initiative. And our segment of that is really, we're going into the high school to teach freshmen and juniors CPR, because our best students are our young people, because we teach them not to be afraid of CPR and what the benefits are. So as they grow and mature through life, they spread that word and they spread that message that CPR is one of the most effective tools in a patient that's experiencing cardiac arrest.
And how were you received here on campus? Was this something that the students dreaded, or was it a good experience? Or?
Oh, I think the students had a really good time. If you had been here, you just saw the expressions on their face, the hands-on part, being able to simulate those situations. They really got into it, and you could tell some took a lot, very serious, and they took a lot away from it.
And so you hope to, I know we've had discussions to bring this to more of our students in the greater community. It's still in the discussion phase, but we'd like to educate children, students at Germantown High School on this advanced life-saving as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We're working with them now. We do this in February. February is Heart Health Month. We did this with Houston High School back in this previous February. We've already scheduled again for February of 2016, and we are keeping our fingers crossed that we'll be able to do the same thing at Germantown High School, because essentially, safety and health, they have no boundaries.
Oh, no kidding. What can you share with our audience, some of the things that you see on the horizon as it relates to, we've spent some of this show on healthcare and now on public safety, on life-saving ambulance service. What do you see as some of the things on the horizon as it relates to ambulance services? I know there have been other programs that we've looked at around the country that could expand services.
Well, one thing we're looking at is community paramedicine, and essentially the paramedics becoming an even larger extension of the hospital in the field. It would include an additional partnership with Methodist Hospital Germantown to ensure patients who are possibly discharged from a hospital who use the EMS system frequently, that we actually go by and actually check on them for the physician to ensure that they're compliant with their medicines, that they have no new complaints, and that they're generally taking care of themselves. Because that's really that ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we're trying to catch the patient before they're really sick and need to enter the medical system or a hospital versus something we can do in the field.
And with an aging population in Germantown, this could be something that there could be a need for as well, in addition, I would think.
Yes, sir. We're really looking at that too. That program is being adopted by the state, and we're keeping our eye on it because we think, though, that we're going to be well involved with that in the near future.
Thank you, Chief. It's been a pleasure. When we return from break, I'll introduce Stephanie Brockway, the new Executive Director of the Germantown Education Foundation. Back in a moment.
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
As the second year of the Germantown Municipal School District gets into full swing, you can feel proud of the many accolades and accomplishments GMSD has received. Houston High School earned the highest average ACT score in the state of Tennessee. Newsweek magazine recognized Houston High as one of America's most challenging schools, and GMSD was named an exemplary district by the state. The Germantown Education Foundation has just appointed a new executive director to raise funds to support the public education of children in Germantown. Stephanie, glad you could be here. We welcome you.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that.
Stephanie, I know you've been on the job maybe 3 to 4 weeks. It's been a whirlwind experience for you. You've hit the ground running. I do serve on the Germantown Education Foundation board, so I know all the work you've done so quickly. Please help the audience understand what this whirlwind 3 weeks has been like for you.
It definitely has been a whirlwind, nonstop. My heart and our mission is really to reach every single student, every teacher, and everybody in the community. We want everyone to understand we are a GMSD family, and our heart is to raise money for the better education of our students and to help our teachers.
Well, it's very worthy work, and we're glad that you've been chosen to lead the organization. I know you will hit the ground running. You already have, and you're no stranger to the Germantown community. There's been some exciting news with GEF, a couple of big checks. If you want to tell our audience a little bit about that.
Very exciting. So we had the privilege of having Bobby Lanier and Mr. Chancellor and future president of the Germantown Charity Horse Show, Virginia Walker, presented GMSD with $50,000. $25,000 went directly to GMSD and $25,000 came to our organization, the Germantown Education Foundation. Very exciting.
The word is spreading quickly, and for an organization that's approaching 70 years old, like the Germantown Charity Horse Show, and for their leadership to recognize that schools need to be funded by all members of the community is such an inspiration, and we're very proud of those efforts. I see that you brought with you a form. There's something called Fill the Fountain of Knowledge.
Yes.
Would you like to share what that means?
I would. This is our fantastic form, Fill the Fountain of Knowledge, and we actually just got this in the hands of every student and the four of our schools, because you know the high school students are not going to take any papers home to mom and dad. So the Fill the Fountain campaign allows you to add any dollar amount or even a one-time donation to your water bill, and in turn the city gives the foundation every 3 months the money. 100% of that money comes back to the foundation, and in turn we give that back to our students and our teachers.
This program was rolled out sometime in April of this year. I know that all members of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, all members of the GMSD School Board have all, and yourself as well, have all signed up for a certain amount to be added to the water bill each month. It's very easy, very painless, and can be done with just filling out a form. We haven't set any goals, but with 14,500 households in Germantown, hopefully we can get to maybe 1,000 by the end of the year. Would be a nice goal to try to reach.
Absolutely. At the end of the initiative that we've pushed through the schools, we're hoping by the end of September we'll have at least half of the students and their parents registered through this program. It is such an easy program. You even forget about that you've attached $5 or $10 or $25 to your monthly bill. It's a fantastic way to support our schools.
I know I give the equivalent of a couple of cups of Starbucks each month, and I don't even see that it's gone. So it's very easy, very simple. Please share with our viewing audience some of the things that some of your ideas that you have for the future of the organization.
Very excited to be working with GMSD and Brian Fisher, our health coordinator. We're looking forward to a 5K event in April. We're hoping it's going to be not just a GMSD school event, but a community event. We're very excited about that. All of the proceeds will go directly back to our GMSD schools.
And you've got another program coming up this fall that's very exciting.
We are going to be working with the Rolling Grizzlies. The Rolling Grizzlies is an organization of wheelchair-bound 20-year-olds, and they have started a basketball team. They are sponsored by the Grizzlies, and they want to play our administration and some of our students, and they will put our students in the wheelchairs and they will play them. We're looking at doing that sometime in October. But we are meeting with the Rolling Grizzlies, and we are inviting Madonna Learning Center, Bodine. We are inviting Memphis Oral School for Deaf to come because we feel like everyone in our city should be involved in this. This is a great opportunity.
Well, and that's a good thing to involve all the different educational opportunities and choices that we have in Germantown. You know, the Germantown Education Foundation was formed in 2006. It's done great work spreading close to $1 million throughout the community in our public schools. But now with an executive director, adding more people to the board, why do you think it's important to have an organization to support education in your home community?
Can you imagine not having people that would want to support education in our home community? What's so amazing about Germantown is the support, not just for education, but in all acts of life through Germantown. But education is one of those things that we all support. We all love our children. We all love our students. We all love the city. And it's something that's so fantastic that everyone, it's a simple thing to get involved. We're looking for volunteers. We're creating task forces for people to become involved in. It's just going to be an amazing year, and we're very excited.
Well, I do know that you serve in many capacities throughout the city that really align well with the Germantown Education Foundation's mission and vision. You're a member of our Germantown Forward 30 Steering Committee. I think you are co-chairing one of the Education Task Force.
Yes, the
Please
Education
share
Task
what
Force.
the goals of the task force are.
We will be meeting every Tuesday, and we are along with other administrators of schools. Some of our board members are part of this task force, and we're going to be looking at the future of education. We're looking for over the next 15 years what we can do as a community, what we can do as citizens, as individuals, to boost education and our school system.
Well, and that's phenomenal. You have also served on the Education Commission as well.
I am still on the Education Commission.
And you have done some things that align with your role now as Executive Director. Just share some of the things that you've done with some of our corporate sponsors out in the community. I think there's an automobile dealership involved in something.
Absolutely. Principal Toyota, we had the opportunity as Education Commission to meet with the gentleman with Principal Toyota, and he actually fully funded the entire year of our Teacher of the Year and Teacher of the Month for the Education Commission. We are very excited about that. Very excited about the fact that he is going to provide a car at the end of the year for our Teacher of the Year gift for May. So it's an exciting time in Germantown.
Definitely very much an exciting time. Our children in schools are getting accolades. Our school district is doing very well. The role of Education Foundation is very, very important. Just to kind of conclude with some of your own thoughts, where do you see the Education Foundation in the next year or two, and how can you get the community more involved? I know you've only been on the job for 3 weeks, so
3 weeks.
I know you haven't planned the entire future, but you probably have some other ideas that you'd like to share with the greater community.
My heart is to get out into the community and really touch every individual, touch every student, every parent, every administrator, and let them understand how important it is to support our GMSD schools, because when we do that, we are actually supporting each other. So over the next year, I'm going to literally be everywhere everywhere that's open and available for me to be at, because I need to reach the community, and I want them to understand who the foundation is and how we are there to support them.
That's a great message, Stephanie. I so appreciate you being a guest today. We thank you for joining us for this segment of Focus on Germantown. We welcome your comments and ideas for what you'd like to hear about on this show. If you have any questions or comments, please visit our website at www.gmtvonline.org. From all of us here at Germantown Municipal Television and from City Hall, we invite you to join us when Focus on Germantown returns next month. Thank you.